Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're exploring the legendary Phrygian capital, a city perfectly, and I mean strategically, situated right between the east and the west, exactly at the intersection of the Sakarya and Parsuk rivers. We're talking about the ancient city of Gordion, an incredible place where history and legend literally blur together in the most spectacular way.
Okay, let's dive into this, because we've all heard the stories, right? You've likely grown up with the famous legends of King Midas and his cursed golden touch, or the wild tale of Alexander the Great, boldly slicing right through the impossible Gordian knot. But are these just fables? Well, absolutely not. They actually center on a very real, incredibly powerful place. Gordion emerged as a dominant force right after the devastating 12th century BC Bronze Age collapse, rising from those ashes to become a monumental empire in ancient Anatolia.
And listen, this isn't just some obscure ancient trivia. Today, this incredible site is located in modern-day Yasahoyak, in the Polatli district of Ankara. And its immense historical gravity? It is universally recognized. In fact, in 2023, Gordion was officially crowned a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's a massive testament to just how crucial this city is for piecing together the puzzle of human civilization.
Now, to truly understand a city this ancient, we kind of need to break down its timeline. While we know that the very first settlements here actually started way back in the early Bronze Age, the city's absolute peak, the true golden era we're focusing on, was firmly planted in the Iron Age, right under the rule of the mighty Phrygian kingdom. The sheer resilience of this city across these distinct eras is just fascinating to look at. Around 1000 BC, during the early Phrygian period, we see the foundation of massive walls and a royal administration. Moving into 800 BC, the Middle Phrygian era hits that famous Midas Golden Age. Now, even though that peak ended in a totally devastating Cimmerian fire, Gordion didn't just die out. By 675 BC, it was rapidly rebuilt on top of a massive earthfill, maintaining its power under Lydian and Achaemenid Persian rule. Finally, we see Alexander the Great's arrival in the Hellenistic period, before Galatian invasions eventually left the city abandoned.
I want you to practically step through the monumental East Gate with me right now. Just imagine standing before it, a massive, ramped gateway built from gigantic stone blocks. The preserved walls there tower nearly 10 meters high. It was an absolute fortified marvel of 8th century BC engineering. Let's explore the brilliant layout that was hiding just beyond those towering walls.
So, the crucial point is understanding how the Phrygians actually lived and governed. And that brings us to their signature architecture, the megaron. Basically, a megaron is a rectangular building with a front entrance hall, called a protomos, that leads into a large main hall, with a big central hearth. These were lined up side by side in the inner city. And the most impressive one, that would be Megaron 3, which served as a massive royal archive or a grand reception hall for the kingdom itself. When we contrast the different sectors of Gordion, a really fascinating social structure emerges. On one hand, you have the elite inner citadel. This was protected by those 10-meter-high walls, and it housed the royal administration, the grand megarons, and these long terrace buildings dedicated to royal kitchens and weaving workshops. But then, on the other hand, you've got the outer and lower towns. Surrounded by defensive trenches and earthen walls, this was the bustling hub for everyday civilians and artisans. It even expanded into a key stop on the famous Royal Road. The city brilliantly supported both the heights of royalty and the everyday engine of its working people. And you know, they didn't just build big, they built with extraordinary beauty. Inside Megaron 2, archaeologists uncovered something truly spectacular. They found the world's oldest surviving geometric pebble mosaic floor. Dating all the way back to the 8th century BC and crafted entirely from naturally colored stones, it's an astonishing architectural achievement. It proves without a shadow of a doubt that the Phrygians were true masters of design. Let's shift our narrative now from the city of the living to the realm of the dead. Surrounding Gordion, the landscape is dramatically altered by the Eurasian steppe culture. They left a spectacular, imposing mark on Anatolia through these massive burial mounds, which are known as tumuli. To really grasp the monumental scale of this landscape, I want you to imagine around 125 of these earthen burial mounds for kings and nobles. 125, just scattered all across the Gordion area, dotting the horizon in literally every direction. It's an awe-inspiring ancient cemetery on a truly epic scale. But there's one of these mounds that absolutely commands attention above all the rest. The Great Tumulus, also known as the MM Tumulus, is an absolute giant.
Standing a colossal 53 meters in height, to put that in perspective, that's roughly the size of a 15-story building, and spanning 300 meters in diameter, it is actually the second largest tumulus in all of Anatolia.
And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer magic of archaeology. Let's mentally descend into that massive mountain right now, deep down into the burial chamber, to uncover the treasures buried with an elderly 8th century BC king. Many experts actually believe this man was either King Gordion himself or the legendary King Midas.
But before we even look at the treasure, you have to consider this mind-blowing fact. The tomb chamber itself, meticulously constructed from pine, juniper, and oak, is the oldest intact wooden structure in the entire world. Just think about that for a second. Wood that has perfectly survived since the 8th century BC. It has been protecting its royal occupant for nearly 3 millennia.
And the artifacts found inside? Breathtaking. The chamber was filled with the absolute peak of Phrygian craftsmanship. We're talking intricately carved marquetry inlaid wooden furniture, massive bronze cauldrons, and bronze sacheulae featuring human and animal heads. They even found hundreds of ancient safety pins called fibulae. Add to that the incredibly detailed ivory and bone carvings of griffins and lions, and you really start to see the undeniable wealth and artistic genius of the Phrygian Empire.
But the discoveries aren't just limited to fancy gold and bronze. Inscriptions found on the Megaron walls and on ceramics provide us with vital linguistic clues, proving that the Phrygian language actually belongs to the Indo-European family. Furthermore, across those terrace buildings we talked about, archaeologists unearthed thousands of loom weights and fragments of madder-dyed fabrics. These everyday artifacts are absolutely crucial because they prove Phrygia's total dominance in ancient textile production.
Now, unearthing all of these wonders definitely didn't happen overnight. It has taken well over a century of dedicated archaeological adventure, meticulous cataloging, and incredibly passionate scholarship just to bring Gordion back to life for us today. This century of excavation has essentially been a relay race of brilliant minds. Starting with the Curta brothers opening the very first trenches back in 1900, the work moved through Rodney S. Young's massive tomb and Megaron discoveries in the 50s and 60s. Then, Keith DeVries and G. Kenneth Sams added to our understanding of the architecture and brought in modern carbon dating. And today, C. Brian Rose leads vital conservation and restoration efforts. Every single era of archaeologists added a crucial layer to our understanding of this magnificent site.
Which brings us to a final, provocative thought to leave you with. We've explored the grand megarons, the intricate mosaics, and the massive great tumulus of Midas. But remember, there are around 125 of those burial mounds dotting the landscape. So much has been found, yet so much of the earth remains completely untouched. What other legendary secrets, what other masterpieces of art and history might still be quietly waiting beneath the Anatolian soil at Gordion? It's a thrilling question, and it's exactly why ancient history continues to be such a fascinating, living puzzle. Thanks for joining me on this explainer to uncover the incredible reality behind the myth.